desire for more in their lives, but it's not enough for you to desire. Reaching for more is a totally different story. So you have to graduate beyond desire to reaching, because most people live in a state of desire. And what I've discovered from years of work, years of personal development and growth, is that desires die every day. In other words, when we expire and we leave this world, those desires go with us. And many of those desires go unfulfilled because we did not take the time to cultivate them. A desire that is not cultivated becomes a desire that dies. And so you have to make the decision that you are going to cultivate the desire, and you're going to develop the desire so that you can be who you were created and intended to be. And so I believe that reaching will require you to be inconvenienced in many ways. You know, a lot of people are like, I want more for my life, and a lot of people will reach out to me or call me or email me or schedule a session with me, and they'll begin to tell me about all these great things they want to do with their lives. And then I begin to have a real straight talk with them and begin to tell them that you're going to have to do A, B, C, D, E to produce that outcome. I immediately can see the shift in their countenance, and I can tell immediately that many of them are not going to do it. They're not going to do it because most people want to improve their lives without any sense of inconvenience. I want you to get that. Most people want to improve their lives, but they don't want to be inconvenienced. And what I tell people all the time, if you want to do great things with your life, it's not going to come from convenience. Nothing of substance will ever be created in your life from the zone of convenience. But if you want an uncommon life, to be willing to be inconvenienced. Write that down. If you want an uncommon life, you have to be willing to be inconvenienced, and most people are not willing to be inconvenienced. We want everything to fit within the mold and the scope of what we have laid out as acceptable for our lives. And the reality is that most people have designed their lives in the margins of mediocrity. Write that down. Most people have designed their lives in the margin of mediocrity, and so they think they're really doing something. And I'll sit down to them and I say, that's a very low bar and standard. Won't you raise that? And then they look at me and say, do you know what it's going to take for me to do that? I say, I absolutely know, and that's why I'm challenging you to raise the bar. Raise the bar on the possibilities of what your life can be. If you always play a small game, you're going to get small results. But if you play a bigger game, you're not only going to reach a place of mastery, but you're going to distinguish yourself as the best and the brightest in the world at what you do. And what the world needs is not more people that shrink themselves to fit mediocre places. The world needs people with the courage to play a bigger game and to reach a place of ultimate mastery. It doesn't take much to be mediocre, but it takes everything to be a master at what you do. And my intention behind writing all of the books I've written, all of the speaking that I've done, all of the interviews over the years that I've done, is to awaken humanity to the intention and the reality that you can master this thing called life. You don't just have to barely get by. You don't just have to do enough. You can unleash the power of your potential and do amazing things with your life, but it's going to cost you something, and you have to be willing to pay the cost. For me, that cost is a cost of discipline. It is a cost of intentionality. It is a cost of focus. It is a cost of being inconvenienced. Whatever the price is, anything that has the ability to unlock your greatest potential and to raise the bar on what's possible for your life is willing to pay. It doesn't matter if the price tag is some relationships have to leave your life. It doesn't matter if the price tag is more education or training or development. Whatever that price is, be willing to pay that price to take your life to the next level. You have to get frustrated with living in the zone of neutral, and you have to make the decision to move your life into overdrive. And so you have to be willing to be inconvenienced, and you have to be willing to exert the energy to break your way into the next level. What most what most people fail to realize is that you cannot expand your life without effort. You can have the greatest of intentions. You can have great ambition, but ambition and intentions go to the grave every day. The thing that is going to be the difference maker for you is effort. And so if you're going to, really reach for more in your life, you're going to have to exert the energy and put the effort into those things. A lot of people say to me, oh, Janelle, I want this. I want to do ABCD. I want to write this book. I want to start this business. I want to start this podcast. I want to do all of these things. No, you don't. And a lot of people have become offended when I say that to them, but I say, no, you don't. You know why I know you don't? Because you have not exerted any energy or put any effort into that thing in your life. And by the simple fact that you have not taken any action on it, it's not something that you're serious about. Some of us have been talking about things for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and we have still not taken any action on that yet. That comes to a point in my life where I begin to ask myself the question, is this really something that I want, or is this something that I've just kind of dreamed up or concocted with my imagination? Because one thing people will tell you about me, if it's something that I want, if it's something I want to achieve or accomplish or do or pursue in my life, I'm going to give it everything I got going in the direction of that thing, even before I understand all of the pieces and the intricacies that are involved for that to happen. I'm going to take the action, and I'll figure it out along the way. But too many people are waiting, and they're waiting, and life is passing them by. And as you heard me say before, you have to get off of the sideline. You have to get off of the bench and get engaged in the game of life. It's not just going to come to you because you have good desire, good intentions, or good aspiration. You have to be willing to pursue the things that you say you want for your life. In other words, our greatest ambitions and aspirations are meaningless without action. And so, if you've listened to this podcast before, I'm a person that's about action. What are you taking action on? What are you pursuing? What are you going after that's going to be the difference between where you are today and where it is that you want to be? We're talking about more. Everybody wants more for their life, but when you begin to break down what it takes to get to the more that we say we want, we discover that most people don't really want what they say they want. And so you've got to become a person of action. The reason that a lot of people fall off when it comes to resolutions and setting goals and intentions for the year, and every year is a repeat of the year before, is because what most people don't understand is that you can't just set goals and set intentions and set, all these things you want to accomplish. You've got to become a person of action. I always tell people every year is my year, and every year I'm going to win because I'm a person of action. I already know. I've already executed. January 1st comes in. I'm already working on making these. So what I'm telling you is you got to be a person of action, and you got to be willing to pursue the things that you say you want for your life. The only thing necessary to perpetuate mediocrity is disinterest and divided focus. That's good. The only thing necessary to perpetuate mediocrity is disinterest and divided focus, which characterizes the lives of most people. Don't tell me that you have a desire for something, but yet you seem so disinterested in that thing. You don't really want what you say you want. And let's not even begin to get into divided focus. We live in a culture and a society that really lacks the ability to focus. Most people cannot even focus a good 5 minutes. We're so distracted with our phones and with life, and just everything has the ability to break our concentration. And that is one of the reasons that so many people are not experiencing the success, the prosperity, the breakthroughs that they want to see in their life. You have to be a person of focus. Everybody that has worked with me, everybody that knows me knows that every single day, Janelle has uninterrupted focused time where I'm focused on certain